In today's session, we will talk about access modifier in Python. So we have three access modifier: private, protected, and public. Now the question is, what is private modifier? So it can be used only inside the same class. It keeps data hidden and safe from outside access. And if you want to use a private data, means that if you want to make instance variable as a private data, then it compulsory to use a double underscore. In simple word, we say that the private data is not accessible outside the class. Even the child class or the derived class also not have permission to access the private data. Means that it gave more security to the instance variable. Okay. Next, next is protected access modifier. So it can be used inside the class and its child derived class. It helps share data safely within related classes. Okay, and if you want to make an instance variable as protected, then it's compulsory to use a single underscore. But it is not strictly follow the rule. Okay, like if you are from C++ and if you are from Java background, then protected data is only accessible inside the child class or own class. Okay, that data is not accessible outside the class. But such type of rules is not present in Python, and that is actually the reason I simply write the note here. The protected members are accessible outside the class in Python because Python use a naming convention instead of a strict access control. The single underscore is only a warning to the programmer, not a restriction. So this is a very important point about the protected access modifier. Because if you are from Java background, if you are from C++ background, then you feel that the protected data is only accessible inside the class or by its derived class. Okay, it's not accessible outside the class, but actually it's accessible. Okay, it's actually the warning to the programmer key that data is protected. Okay, so not use outside the class. Okay, but if you want to use it, then it easily use it. It not gives such type of restriction that are present in C++ and Java. Okay, so it not give security, too much security. Okay, now next is public access modifier. So it can be used from anywhere inside or outside the class, easy to access and commonly used for normal variables and method. And if you want to write if you want to make like instance variable as public, then there is no need to write underscore. Okay, so without any underscore you can make instance variable public. Okay, so I think you get a better understanding what is actually private access modifier, what is protected access modifier, and what is public access modifier. The important point is protected is like protected access modifier is just like it's use a naming convention. Okay, it not strictly follow the rules. Okay, if you are from like C++ or Java background, then rules is very strict. The protected data is only accessible inside the class, or that data is accessible by the child class or derived class, but that data is not accessible outside the class. Okay, but such type of concept is not present here, and that is actually the reason I write note, and that is the reason I again repeat the point: protected members are accessible outside the class in Python because Python uses a naming convention instead of strict access control. The single underscore is only a warning to the programmer, not a restriction. Okay, so I think you get a better understanding about the private, protected, and public access modifier. Now we understand this topic by using some example, by taking some example. Okay, so here we uh, take so in this case we make one class with name student. Okay, so we have a student is a user defined data type. Okay, and inside student we have to take some confidential data like Aadhaar number. Okay, so now the Aadhaar number is like Aadhaar number is like our instance variable. Okay, and we know that if we want to initialize instance variable, so for that we have to use init function. Okay, so here we use init function, and inside init we want to pass an, that is Aadhaar number. Okay, and you have to write like this, like self dot Aadhaar number, self dot Aadhaar number is equal to an. Okay, now okay, so in this case actually the Aadhaar number is currently public. Okay, so in this case actually it's public here, so that data is public. Okay, and if you want to access outside the class, so it's possible. Means that first we create the instance, so we write like this, like s1 dot student. Okay, and inside this we have to pass the Aadhaar number. So let us suppose the Aadhaar number is 1 2 3 4 5, and we want to access directly after the class like this, like s1 dot Aadhaar number. So we will get Aadhaar number here because that data is public and it is accessible anywhere. But what happens if we make that data private? Now that data is private. Now that data is private, and private data is not accessible outside the class. Even that data is not accessible by the child class or derived class. Okay, so if we run the program, we will get error. Okay, now we make that data protected. So as I already told you, protected data. Now think, first thing, will get error or not? Will not get any error. Okay, this program will run. Okay, and we will get the Aadhaar number. But now, okay, the student object has no attribute Aadhaar number. Okay, where is the problem? Okay, now we want to, okay, I forgot that underscore, single underscore. Now again we run the program. So here the output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but if we cap that data private, again use, now we use double underscore in this here. Again run the program, will get error. So private data is not accessible outside the class. But if you make data protected, so I already told you the rule. It is a naming convention. Okay, it gives warning that data is protected. Please not use outside the class. But if you use it, you will get the output. Okay, so you will get it out, and the public data is accessible from anywhere. Like if you remove this underscore, and so now it's public, now it's accessible from anywhere. So I know that here the protect is a little bit confusing, but it's a warning to the programmer that data is protected. Please not use outside the class. Means that Python has trust on programmers. If you make data protected, then you have the like you don't use that data outside the class. Okay, but if you use it, it perfectly works. Okay, so that is actually the access modifier in Python. Thank you.